Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I would like to invite our next guest speaker, Dr. Sadia Qayyum, for her talk on role of PRP in dermatology. She is currently working at AIMC Jinnah Hospital, Lahore. Dr. Sadia Qayyum.
Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to congratulate Dr. Atif Shehzad for such a nice symposium and thank him for inviting me and providing me this opportunity. Today, the topic of my presentation is the role of platelet-rich plasma in dermatology. Briefly, the contents of my presentation. Basically, platelet-rich plasma is a form of regenerative medicine that harnesses and amplifies natural growth factors found in our cells and help to heal the damaged tissues and cells. Basically, platelet-rich plasma is an autologous, that is, it is taken from the same patient and injected. It is rich in, as the name implies, platelets, growth factors, cytokines, and chemokines. Other than platelets, it has growth factors which are stored in the alpha granules within the platelets and are responsible for tissue repair, regeneration, and angiogenesis. Plasma proteins are also present, like fibrin, fibronectin, vitronectin. These are briefly the growth factors that are present in the PRP. Platelet-derived growth factor, which is chemotactic for the fibroblasts and macrophages. It is mitogenic for fibroblasts, smooth muscle cells, and endothelial cells. Transforming growth factors are present, which mediates angiogenesis. Chemotactic again for fibroblasts, keratinocytes, and macrophages. These are mitogenic for the fibroblasts, smooth muscle cells. They inhibit endothelial cells, keratinocytes, lymphocytes, proteoglycan regulation, matrix protein regulation, and degradating proteins are done by this. Vascular endothelial growth factor, which mediates angiogenesis and is chemotactic and mitogenic for the endothelial cells. Epithelial growth factor, it mediates angiogenesis. It is mitogenic for the endothelial cells, keratinocytes, and the fibroblasts. Hepatocyte growth factors, it also mediates regeneration, then fibroblast growth factor, which leads to tissue organization and regeneration, and fibroblast growth factor 9, which is also important for the generation of the new follicles. The uses that we are using this platelet-rich plasma in alopecia, skin rejuvenation, wrinkles, scarring. There are certain other indications in which this is being used. Generally, there are certain contraindications for this procedure, like malignancy, any chronic liver disease, thrombocytopenia. Those patients are excluded. How is the PRP prepared? If after aseptic conditions, blood is obtained in sodium saturated tubes, and we give 2 spins. Initial is a soft spin, which is at 1500 RPM for 10 minutes. This is the centrifuge machine. And after the first spin, we get this. The lower bottom of the tube contains the RBCs. The center contains the white blood cells and the platelets, and the plasma is the upper portion. Then we shift this into the upper plasma and into another tube, and we give a hard spin for 3500 RPM for 10 minutes. Generally, PRP is done by double spin, but there is no standardization, so different methods are being used and different timing and RPM settings are used. Our aim is to produce 4 to 7 times of the platelet concentration and the growth factor concentration after these 2 centrifugations. This is the pictorial representation. As you can see, the blood sample is centrifuged. After the first spin, we transfer the upper layer, and it is given the second hard spin. And this is the end result that we'll inject into our patients. Activation of PRP, 10% calcium chloride, thrombin, or calcium gluconate can be used, and it triggers a coagulation cascade leading to the degranulation of the growth factors and alpha granules, and release of, usually we use it within 10 minutes of activation. Certain studies have shown that on the face for rejuvenation we can use without activation as well. So after consent and aseptic conditions, we can use PRP as a topical preparation or intralesional or perilesional as well. I will talk about alopecia. It leads to proliferation and differentiation of stem cells which are present in the hair follicle. We can use different techniques. We can inject it into the follicles with a 30-gauge needle, or we can use mesotherapy, microneedling, or even sprayed onto the alopecia area. And PRP is also used as an adjunct to hair transplant, and already the previous speakers have told you that it is used in conjunction with SVF and stem cells. Even exosomes therapy is done along with PRP, can be done along with PRP. This is the picture of a patient after 5 sessions of PRP, and you can see the hair growth. This is a female with female patterned hair loss, and after 6 sessions of PRP, the central parting has improved quite a lot. This is the picture of a recent patient after a single session. That is after 4 weeks of the first session of PRP. Other than alopecia, we can use, and we are using PRP for acute and chronic ulcers, diabetic ulcers, neuropathic ulcers, stasis or pyoderma gangrenosum, we can use in them. Usually they augment, the growth factors augment reepithelialization, and we can inject into the ulcer surrounding area, or we can use as a topical spray. Generally, this is how it is done, that you debride or clean the wound, and then after local anesthetic, you can give the PRP and even sprayed onto the ulcer. This is the picture of a patient who had a chronic ulcer, and this is after 2 sessions of PRP. This is another of our patient who had systemic sclerosis and was an immunomodulator, but the ulcer, and she had calcinosis cutis. But the ulcers did not respond to any of the treatments, and we did PRP for this patient, and as she was a 15-year-old female and was very, you can say, anxious, and was not letting us inject because of lower pain threshold, so we just topically painted and sprayed onto the ulcer, and this is after 2 sessions of the painting of the PRP, 2 sessions week apart. So there was considerable improvement, even though patient was already on steroids and Cellcept, and there was no improvement previously. But after PRP, the ulcer responded. PRP is being used for acne scarring, and it stimulates regrowth of collagen and elastin. We can use it alone with microneedling, with CO2 laser, even RF is also being used in combination. This is one of the patients showing improvement after 5 sessions of PRP with microneedling. PRP for rejuvenation, it augments dermal elasticity and induces new collagen synthesis by dermal fibroblasts. We can use it as along with microneedling, with lasers, and as injections as mesotherapy. Usually, we don't see much side effects except for the pain, because it depends on the threshold of the patient. There might be mild bruising or swelling, and obviously we do it in aseptic condition, but sometimes there is a theoretical risk of infections, or allergic reactions are minimal, but to any of the, it is autologous, it is not related to the PRP, but to the activator, or any of these things can lead to This is one of the, as I've already mentioned, that there is no standardization of the PRP. This is an article from an Indian journal where they had made a task force, and I found it to be a good read. Any of you, if interested, can give it a read, and they also recommend double spin. So these are the certain references from where I took. Any questions? Thank you. Thank you.